As the temperature drops, the wind kicks up. We've got first response team coverage tonight to tell you how long it'll last and if it'll get any worse.
The search for a fair jury in the Darren Mack case ends in Reno, while the trial against the man accused of shooting his wife and a judge is moving to Vegas. Plus, the disturbing new ad campaign coming to Nevada aimed to scare people away from trying meth.
And a corrections officer arrested. The claims of revenge against coworkers and mistreatment of inmates.
We're watching out for you. This is News 3 Nightside.
Good evening, everyone. Marie Mortera is in for Sue tonight, and you can feel it in the air and in your hair.
Oh, yeah. Big weather changes are the talk of the town, with gusty winds bringing a cool down to the valley and a dust advisory overnight. We have first response team coverage with Kevin Janison with a forecast, but we start with Steve Crupi, who is live downtown with more on the air quality situation.
Marie, yes, indeed. This wind has really been kicking up just within the past hour out here. This dust advisory that has been issued will extend at least until tomorrow morning, warning everyone that these swirling winds will kick up dust storms that could really cloud our skies with some unhealthy debris. The wind began kicking up this afternoon and the dust started flying. Unprotected piles of dirt are the worst cause of dust pollution in Las Vegas, and construction companies can be punished with big fines if they're caught making a mess.
One of the big things here in Clark County is dust control.
Dust control is most often achieved by watering down exposed dirt areas, but as we saw earlier this year, all it takes is 1 or 2 locations to ignore the law, and a virtual dust blizzard can be the result. The dust advisory issued for tonight warns construction companies to take precautions, and violations can be reported by calling the Dust Complaint Hotline at 385-DUST. In addition to the dust problem, construction sites in Las Vegas have been especially hard hit by wind-related mishaps this year, with injured workers and damaged equipment occurring at a number of sites. Clark County has air quality monitoring stations all across the valley, and the results from tonight will be watched very closely. That flag here at 9th and Bonanza was still just about 90 minutes ago, and the winds are definitely picking up out here, but the man who really knows what's in store for us weather-wise is Kevin Janison. Our first response team coverage continues now live in the Weather Center. Kevin.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. The wind is going to be a significant factor mainly tomorrow from midday through the mid-afternoon hours, when we could experience gusts in town at or above 50 miles per hour. They're pretty steady over the last hour, 10 to 20. We've seen a few neighborhoods, especially in southeastern parts of town, get back up to about 25 miles per hour. Earlier today, most valley locations gusted to at least 30, at least registered on our WaterSmart neighborhood weather stations. The deal is a very strong cold front is coming down. The winds will continue to blow right in advance of it and directly behind the front, and then as the front gradually moves out, the winds will slowly relax. But it's a slow-moving system, so it is going to be a long process. And not only are we talking winds, this front, this area of cold air right here, will knock the temperature down about 25 degrees. Full weather details in just a couple of minutes. Marie?
Thanks, Kevin. Well, Metro Police rule out foul play after 2 bodies are found at a home that caught on fire this afternoon. This started before 4 near Bermuda and Cactus. Detectives tell us both people inside the home likely died from a drug overdose. The fire was a result of a candle that was left unattended. And a disturbing story out of Nye County, where an elderly woman is dead after a vicious dog attack. The sheriff's department says it was her own dogs that turned on her in Pahrump. They're described as 8 wolf hybrids. Now, the woman was rescued by neighbors and animal control, but she died at the hospital. The dogs have been euthanized.
The high-profile case against the Reno man accused of killing his wife and shooting the judge handling their divorce is coming down to Las Vegas. The Darren Mack trial is moving because the judge says it's just going to be too difficult, if not impossible, to find an unbiased jury up in Reno. Hetty Chang is live in our newsroom tonight with reaction from all the parties involved in this case, including the murder victim's family.
Well, Jim, Mack's attorneys could not be more thrilled. This is exactly what they've wanted all along. Now Charla Mack's family says this change in venue could be a positive move.
The one-year anniversary has come and gone, and now the trial of Darren Mack is set to begin. Not in Reno, but right here in Las Vegas. All sides seem to agree it is the best decision, even those closest to the victim in all of this, the family of Charla Mack.
Well, at first I was very upset, but the more I think about it, I realize that it's actually better.
In a phone interview Thursday, Charla's mother, Surya, admits it may not be the best venue for her, but she says at least the prosecution will be working on its own turf.
I think that ultimately it will be better because they're back with their families.
Judge Douglas Herndon moved the case to Clark County after a discouraging 3 days of jury selection in Washoe County. Mack's lawyers couldn't agree more with Herndon's decision.
What we try to do is minimize the exposure that a particular juror has. There's more of a cross-section of citizens in Las Vegas that have not heard about this case. It wasn't an accused or alleged shooting that happened in their courthouse.
Questionnaires are set to be in the mail as early as Monday to find out how much Clark County's jury pool knows about Darren Mack, where both sides will be looking for potentials like this lady.
I'm not sure. I don't watch TV.
And excusing others who already have an opinion about the case.
It just seems like from the little bit of stuff that I've seen on the television, especially with him running the way that he did immediately afterwards, it just seems like he would be guilty.
Jury selection is set to begin Monday, October 15th, and Charla's mother, Surya, says she does plan to attend at least part of the trial. That's the very latest here in the newsroom. I'm Hetty Chang. Jim, back to you.
All right, Hetty, thank you. So you'll be hearing a lot more about this one, including an interesting legal maneuver. Mack has pleaded not guilty and not guilty by reason of insanity.
Also new tonight, nearly a year later, North Las Vegas police have a suspect in an unsolved murder. I want to show you now Cindy Fuentes. She has some distinct tattoos and is only 4 foot 11 inches tall. Now, back on December 4th of last year, police found a man dead inside a room at the Vegas Vertis Motel on Main Street, and they think Fuentes was involved. Now, here's another look at her picture. If you know anything, you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 385-5555.
Of course, the big catch for Metro Police right now would be Chester Stiles, the man accused of raping a 3-year-old girl on videotape. Tomorrow marks 1 week since the Nye County Sheriff's Department named Stiles as a suspect. Since then, his face has been plastered all over. You see it on billboards here. The case was handed over to Metro because it's believed the abuse happened here in Las Vegas, even though that original videotape was turned over to authorities in Pahrump.
New developments today in the O.J. Simpson robbery case. Judge Joe Bonaventure Jr. has set November 8th as the date for preliminary hearing for all 6 men charged. Simpson is accused of leading the charge into a Palace Station hotel room last month to take sports items he says are rightfully his.
Now, a major problem in Nevada with stats putting our state at the top of the list when it comes to meth use.
Sadly, a lot of it starts with children. Rob McMillan is here now with a shocking new ad campaign that's proven to be successful elsewhere.
Right, Marie, it's shocking and probably horrifying for some parents, but former meth addicts say that these ads are accurate and they're hoping they might stop people from turning to the drug. Now, we're going to show you some of those images. Just a warning, you might find them a little disturbing. It's not the kind of commercial you'd like to see at the dinner table.
I drove to that party and I did meth for the first time.
But if it's shock value the Montana Meth Project is going for, many say they got it.
And now this is my life.
They're accurate.
Chris Collins is a recovering meth addict. He started using that and other drugs when he was just a teenager.
People have just fried themselves on it. I mean, it really literally fries your brain.
Among other things, some of these print ads ran in a local paper showing scabs, skin sores, and rotting teeth. Collins says pictures like these aren't far off.
No, they're not false. I've seen people that have no teeth at all. I mean, and tore up teeth and, you know, grinded down teeth. I mean, it's, you know, that's not that is an accurate depiction of it for sure.
But supporters in the fight against meth are hoping to turn the corner. This afternoon, Dawn Gibbons was presented with a check for $12,500 to continue her statewide initiatives against meth. They're hoping those programs, as well as these pictures, can make a difference.
They started out with the egg in the frying pan thing, you know, this is your brain on drugs, you know, and you know, you think to yourself, well, that won't happen to me, exactly what you said, you know, and the bottom line is that it can happen to you. I mean, the drugs, especially meth, I mean, it's an equal opportunity killer, you know, it doesn't care who you are, you know, and it'll destroy your life no matter who you are.
And as for the check that Don Gibbons got today, that's going to assist in the distribution of 250,000 handouts to Clark County School District students, showing those students some of the images like the ones you just saw, hoping that has an impact in the battle on meth. Jim, back to you.
They are not easy to look at. Let's hope it does help. Rob, thank you. Now, a strange story of revenge that landed a Nevada corrections officer behind bars. Irvin Blake is on the other side of the bars tonight at the Clark County Detention Center. A Department of Corrections report suggests Blake admitted to asking an inmate to beat up another corrections officer who was involved in an investigation that led to Blake's demotion. He reportedly admitted to that plot, along with another in which he tried to plant drugs in that same officer's work vehicle. Blake's due in court tomorrow, so we'll hear more about this. The report also says he admitted to asking an inmate to attack another inmate.
1 year and $38 million brings an added convenience to those who live and work in the south end of the valley. The new I-15 interchange is finally open at Silverado Ranch. Until now, it was a long stretch between Blue Diamond and St. Rose Parkway. The new interchange is right next to the South Point Hotel and Casino, which put $5 million toward the construction costs.
Still ahead here tonight, a cell phone brings a major airport runway to a standstill.
And an illegal downloader faces the music, the big fine that's sending a warning to anyone who gets their tunes online.
And it's something the White House has long denied, the newly released secret memo that contradicts the president's policy on torture.
And Larry Craig is here to stay, why the scandalized senator is backing out of his plans to leave Congress.
I'm Kevin Janison of the News 3 Weather Center. A lot of ground to cover. High wind watch in effect for Friday. Gusts to 50 miles per hour in town, 70 miles per hour in the mountains, and much, much cooler air, all set to invade southern Nevada. Your full forecast when we come back.
Tomorrow morning when you wake up with us, canine training at the monorail stations. Hi, John. Hi, LJ.
What they're looking for, plus a safe place for your kids to get some Halloween fun. The scariest haunted houses around. Tomorrow at 5.
Nervous moments for more than 100 passengers as they're forced to leave an Alaska Airlines flight in Seattle. The plane made an emergency landing after someone on board noticed a cell phone that no one claimed as their own. Reports say it appeared to be taken apart or reassembled. A bomb squad checked it out, and luckily it turned out to be nothing. Well, how far should Americans go to get information out of suspected terrorists? According to a New York Times report, a well-known torture technique was secretly approved in 2005. And as Brooke Hart tells us, the Bush administration has a history of denying the torture question.
It may be Hollywood, but interrogation experts say this scene in The Good Shepherd is true to life.
Tell me your name.
Virtual drowning, known as waterboarding, as a tactic not ruled out by the White House in the war because of tactics they say work. In Washington, Brooke Hart, NBC News.
Hoping to stamp out fraud, the U.S. Postal Service launches a fake check campaign. It's being implemented here in the Valley and all over the country. The USPS investigated for 8 months to find suspicious checks, money orders, credit card transactions, and what they found stretched all the way around the world.
We seized over 540,000 fake checks with value in excess of $2.1 billion. These checks were written in the names of over 400 financial institutions worldwide.
Canada, Nigeria, England, and the Netherlands were all involved in those busts. 7 people from Nigeria will soon be facing fraud charges here in the U.S.
Embattled Idaho Senator Larry Craig is staying put. He says he's not leaving Congress, even though a judge has denied his request to have his guilty plea to disorderly conduct thrown out. Now, this all stemmed from a June incident at the Minneapolis airport where Craig was busted in a men's restroom by undercover police. They say he was making gestures underneath a stall. Last month, Craig said he would resign over the scandal, but he says he can still be effective.
A verdict today in Minnesota sets the tone for the music industry in its fight against illegal downloading. A woman who fought her case is losing big time. The federal jury says Jamie Thomas has to pay $220,000 in damages. Music industry attorneys argued she shared more than 1,700 songs using the Kazaa program. This is just one of the 26,000 lawsuits filed since 2003 over file sharing. So it's time to pay for those tunes on your iPod.
Yeah. 17,000 songs.
Yeah.
How long would it take for you to share all that?
I would have gotten the CD, though, for that price.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been a wild day, wild night.
Yeah, we're still in sort of the precursor stages because the main event is tomorrow, and that's when the wind really gets going, and then the cooler air rolls in too. Wind evident all over the Las Vegas Valley, all over southern Nevada. We told you earlier in the newscast, already winds gusting over 50 miles per hour from Red Rock up to Mount Charleston. There is more in store tomorrow when they get even stronger. Now, they're tolerable now. They're manageable at 13, gusting to 21. We see that. That's your garden variety Las Vegas wind. 75 degrees, 23% relative humidity. And look how low the barometer is, 29.59 inches of mercury. Here's how we expect Friday to go. Mid-70s early in the morning, maybe low 70s in some neighborhoods. Southwest 15 to 30. The winds will increase by midday. The temperature's not going anywhere. 15 to 35 sustained. That's when we could experience winds gusting to about 50 miles per hour. Late afternoon, the wind turns around. It comes out of the northwest. Still very strong. Still a few gusts to 50 possible, and the temperature starts dropping. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the temperature already in the 60s by 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Peak wind gusts in neighborhoods across town were well over 30 miles per hour. Here are the current speeds, and from our WaterSmart neighborhood weather stations just a second ago, I saw downtown Henderson at 30, but it has backtracked. It gusted to 37 in that neighborhood. North Las Vegas gusting to 34. Southeast parts of town having gusted to 35. 89 and 74, the high and the low. The 74-degree reading was a new record for the warmest low temperature ever on the 4th of October. And around the west, there's some tropical moisture from the leftovers of Juliet pushing into New Mexico. We are clear, but you can see what's coming. It's coming down from the north. It's big. It's a very, very large cold front. Here's a better view of it. You can make out the front right about there. Of course, the wind's very strong in advance of it. As the front continues to barrel down on southern Nevada, our winds will increase, and then they'll be just as strong on the back side of it. They'll be out of the northwest. That'll bring the colder air. Here's the freckled clouds. That's a huge pool of colder air. How cold, you ask? We've got some pictures. The snow level in Oregon down to 3,500 feet. It'll be that way through the first half of the weekend before things change dramatically and start to warm up. This is not going to be this will be a rather short-lived cool snap, but it's sort of early in the season to get this cold with the snow in Oregon and the cool down that we're going to experience here in the Las Vegas Valley. Back to the satellite picture we go. The cool front moves in, it moves out, and very quickly we will warm back up. Let me show you Friday morning's temperatures. First of all, lows will be 61 in Searchlight. Overton going down to 59. Highs for tomorrow, Indian Springs at 70, Alamo at 65, 74 in Sandy Valley. We're going down to 74 here in town tonight. Still windy at times. Stronger winds tomorrow. The high wind watch in effect. Gusts to 50 miles per hour possible. Sustained 15 to 35. 77 the high, and then dropping in the afternoon. Up on the mountains, 70 mile per hour winds possible. And your 7-day forecast as we look ahead now, the big chill is on Saturday and still windy on Saturday. After a low in the 50s, we're only going into the 60s for a high. Remember, the wind will be blowing. We'll have wind chills. It's going to be chilly.
Wind chills.
How often can you use the word chill in an October forecast in Las Vegas? We're slamming it in there a lot.
Yeah.
We do warm up nicely next week, but wait till you go outside Saturday. You may not want to.
This weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Up next here tonight, lesson learned for a former Survivor contestant.
Joking around with Danny Bonaducci cost him, ouch, some teeth. More of the painful video up next.
I'm Mitch Trustwell. Join me and my friends as we fight juvenile diabetes. Saturday, October 20th, here at UNLV. Registration is at 8 a.m. Go to KVBC.com for details. Help us fight juvenile diabetes.
Yeah! A friendly face is the top moneymaker when it comes to the front page of all those tabloids.
And this video you gotta see. Partridge Family star Danny Bonaducci sends a former Survivor contestant to the hospital. Alicia Jacobs says it all in tonight's Stage 3.
Well, believe it or not, the biggest and best show in Vegas is not a Cirque du Soleil production. It's actually an Andre Agassi production, and it's happening Saturday night. For the 12th year, Andre has managed to bring some of the biggest names in entertainment to one stage, and you can be a part of it. This year's performers include the original American Idol, Kelly Clarkson, Santana, Matchbox 20, a rare performance by Jerry Seinfeld, and the one and only Tony Bennett. It all benefits the Andre Agassi Charitable Foundation. Some tickets are still available. Just contact the MGM Grand Garden or Ticketmaster. Well, that crazy Danny Partridge was acting, well, crazy again the other night. This time, Danny Bonaducci got in a fight on stage during an award show. His opponent, Survivor castoff and self-proclaimed most hated man in reality TV, Johnny Fairplay. All right, now I'm not advocating fighting, but this is some pretty entertaining video. Basically, Fairplay was presenting an award and was being booed. Bonaducci walked on stage and heckled him. Now here's where the stories differ. Bonaducci claims Fairplay jumped him, so he literally threw him off. Fairplay says he was giving him an innocent hug. In either case, Fairplay landed on his mouth and broke some teeth. He underwent 2.5 hours of dental surgery. He also filed a police report. Hey, you don't suppose it was all a publicity stunt, do you? Well, Angelina Jolie may have bested Jennifer Aniston in the man department, but Jennifer is showing her who's boss at the newsstand. According to Forbes magazine, Jen's face is the one we are buying more than any other, including Angelina. The analysis looked at sales of celebrity weeklies like People, Star, and Us Weekly. They say that Aniston appeared on 6 covers over a 6-month period and sold more than 5 million copies. Now her ex, Brad Pitt, is number 2. Angelina is number 4. Others include Katie Holmes, Valerie Bertinelli, Carrie Underwood, and dream girl Jennifer Hudson. And guess who was not on the list? Britney. Forbes magazine says she is only slightly more likable than Paris Hilton. Back to you.
Well, coming up, Rick Strasser will tell us the latest athlete that is admitted to using steroids after vowing she hadn't.
Plus, another big day in the Major League Baseball postseason. It's all coming up next in sports here on News 3 Nightside.
Welcome back. Last time the Phillies won a playoff game was in the 1993 World Series. The Rockies were in just their 2nd year. Well, at the rate the current Rockies are rolling, Philadelphia may have to wait a bit longer to finally win a postseason game again. The Rocks came into Game 2 of the NLDS, winners of 15 out of 16 overall. Troy Tulowitzki and Matt Holliday went deep back-to-back in the first. Then with the bases full of Rocks in the 4th, Kaz Matsui with a 4-run quadruple, more commonly known as a grand slam. Rockies are a game from the NLCS 10-5, the final score. To the Valley of the Sun, the D-backs looking for 2-0 lead on the Cubs. Chicago leading 2-0 in the second. 2 on, 2 out for Chris Young. He sends out a mighty whack to left. Got every bit of it. 3-run shot. It's 3-2. Later in the 4th, 2 on for Stephen Drew. He smokes one to right. Turns into a triple. Snakes win again, 8-4. On the junior circuit, the Indians and Yankees opening up their series. 40-year-old Kenny Lofton had 4 RBI tonight, all with 2 outs. Tribe hitters seem to be hitting off tees tonight. Cleveland hit 4 home runs off Yankee pitching. Indians make a statement Game 1. They win it 12-3. It's early in the Mountain West Conference season, but the standings are basically standing upside down. UNLV is in first place for the first time in school history. Air Force is 2-1. Those 2 teams were picked to be the bottom 2 in the preseason poll. As Yogi once said, though, that's why they play the game. So obviously Saturday's matchup at the Air Force Academy is big for both teams. Add to that, the Falcons remember what UNLV did to them on the last day of the season last year.
It'll definitely be in the back of our minds. I don't think we came into the game. We didn't blow the game off. I mean, we're not the type of team that underestimates anybody. But I would just say maybe we didn't have our heads right, and we just didn't do the things we needed to do to win. We weren't consistent, and just kind of weren't playing our game.
Now, if you think you're seeing double, don't adjust your set. The Wranglers are set to begin training camp tomorrow morning and have brought in some history-making brothers. Chris and Peter Ferraro are identical twins. They became the first such twins to play together in the NHL when they took the ice with the Rangers back in '95. Now, join me Monday on News 3 Nightside, where we'll learn much more about the Wranglers' twin killings. Finally, from the files of If It Looks Like a Duck and Quacks Like a Duck, it was rumored to be true, and while we hoped it wasn't, today it turns out to be true. According to the Washington Post, Marion Jones admitted in a letter that she did indeed use performance-enhancing drugs prior to winning 5 medals in the 2000 Olympics. These steroids are linked to the Balco lab. Tomorrow she will plead guilty to 2 counts of lying to federal agents about her drug use. For a long time, she adamantly denied using steroids. Stay with us. More News 3 Nightside right after this.
Some special attention for some of our 4-legged friends this afternoon, and then some 8-legged friend. There were insects, snakes, everything here. St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Church held its annual blessing in honor of St. Francis of Assisi Day.
Well, that animal has no legs.
Yeah, no legs there.
Yeah, that's the patron saint of animals, and it wasn't just dogs and cats, as Jim said. People brought out the rabbits, reptiles, and other pets for some good luck over the coming year. Yeah.
And to the best of our knowledge, no blessees did any biting.
Yes, exactly.
That's good.
You think of all days, you know, that would be the day for all animals to get along.
That would be very nice.
Thanks for having us in. Thanks for filling in tonight.
Absolutely. All right, have a great night.
Good night.